Good morning, teachers. Today I'm excited to present our copyright presentation for you guys. Is everybody ready?
Yes.
Alrighty. So the standards that we will be addressing for this professional development is Standards 3. The librarian models and promotes the highest standard of conduct, ethics, and integrity in the use of the web and other print and electronic resources. We're going to be focusing on Principle 2A, complies with and helps staff comply with school board policies, current legislation, and regulations regarding copyright, plagiarism, confidentiality, selection, reconsideration of materials, and other legal issues that affect the library media program. I'm going to focus on Principle 2C, clearly mark copyright warning notices on copy-enabled equipment located throughout the entire campus. Principle 2E, provide training at least once a year for students and staff, which I'm doing right now, and on district internet policies, the principle of copyright, plagiarism, intellectual freedom, confidentiality, the rights of users, and other intellectual concerns. And then, last one, Principle 2F. We're going to encourage teachers, I'm going to encourage you guys today, and administrators, and others in school to develop and publicize policies and procedures that advocate for compliance with copyright, campus, and district internet policies, and other relevant laws. All right, guys. So before we begin this whole professional development, I want to know what you know about copyright. Okay, guys? I want you to tell me a little bit about what you know about copyright. Okay? What is something that you know about copyright? Okay? The next one. Okay, so Miss Clayton, what do you know about copyright?
Okay, what I know about copyright is that you just cannot just print anything on the internet or books that you may purchase
That's
if you
right.
do not have permission to copy.
That's right. You cannot just print anything off the internet without permission. Right.
And distribute.
Right. Oh, right. All righty. That's a good one. That's a very good one. All right, so you just cannot print anything off the internet without permission and distribute it. Good one. Miss Linda, what do you know about copyright?
That when you are writing a paper and you take like a direct quote or something from somebody, you have to cite your source.
Good job, excellent. Okay, so give recognition to your sources, right?
Yes.
So you know you got give recognition. Good one. To your sources. All righty. Anyone else? So we're gonna move on. All right. So what is something you want to know about copyright? So we know what some of the things are that you know about copyright. What is something you want to know about copyright? Miss, yes?
Miss George, I would like to know, can you copy a book, put it on a PowerPoint, and distribute it to your team members?
All righty. You want to know, can we copy a book, put it on a PowerPoint, and distribute it distribute it to who?
To your team.
To your, okay. So your staff, people on board? Okay, awesome. All righty, so anybody else have anything they want to learn? All righty, so she wants to know that. All righty, we'll find out, shall we? All right, so let's begin with our cool video. Is everyone ready to listen to the cool video?
Yes.
All right, so before we do that, we gotta remember why we're learning about copyright. It's very important to know why we're learning about something, okay? So we're gonna learn why we learn about copyright, okay? All right. I'm gonna start with a video, and by the way, it was permitted, okay? Alrighty.
interacting with digital devices day and night. Digital media offers an empowering set of tools. Everyone can access, move, reshape, and reshare creative content in all kinds of new ways. As we use our devices, we are consumers of creative work, music, movies, books, images, games, software, and more. We're also creators, as we take photos, write and record songs, make movies, write stories, develop apps, games, and more. Since we all interact with, create, and share each other's work, knowing the rules of the road for getting and using creative work legally and ethically is one of the essential literacies of our time. Those rules are governed by copyright. In the past, copyright was something that only big publishing houses or movie studios needed to think about. But today, copyright is more relevant to our day-to-day activities than ever before. As we navigate the many choices we have as both creators and enjoyers of media, there are some important legal and ethical considerations we need to keep in mind. Like, just because something is easy from a technology standpoint, like digital file sharing, that doesn't mean it's automatically okay.
That's right.
Our internet communities work best when we understand the basic ground rules and treat each other fairly. Respecting the rights of artists and creators benefits all of us, as we, in turn, are artists and creators.
Alrighty. Awesome. Alright. So copyright and fair use laws have become a topic of concern as technology has increasingly lowered the barriers to sharing, copying, and creating at any time, making us potential publishers and distributors of content. It becomes a lot easier to break the rules, particularly in this digital age. Copyright is about collective responsibility, protection, and digital citizenship. In rare cases, really rare cases, school districts have been fined for violating copyright. So paying attention to these details of fair use and copyright laws can protect you and your school district. Educating yourself on the issue is also important because as a teacher, you model proper use for the students so that they can protect themselves also. By learning about copyright, you are also able to advocate compliance with copyright on campus. Okay, making sure everyone on campus is in compliance. So copyright and fair use. Copyright is a law that protects ownership of and control over the work that someone creates. Imagine you created something and then you tried really hard, you worked hours on it, you created something, and then everyone is just using it free. How would you feel? Upset, exactly. So copyright is a law that protects the ownership and the control over the work that someone creates, requiring other people to get the creator's permission. You would be much happier if they actually got your permission, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So they get your permission before they copy it, share it, or before they perform the work. Fair use is the ability to use a small amount of the copyright work without permission, okay? But only in certain ways. So remember, copyright is a law and fair use is a guideline, okay? And then this is just an overview of the copyright law. It's federal copyright law. It is Title 17 of the U.S. Code. And the copyright law, like we just talked before, protects the original work of the authorship, okay? And it's not limited to books, music, articles. I remember you talked about having a download of books, music, movies, photography, photographs, and software, okay? So it's not limited to any of those. And we talked about fair use before. We said it is using a small amount of the work, okay? All right, so copyright, fair use allows the use of portions of copyrighted work and materials for educational purposes. Copyright is the law, like we said, and fair use is the guidelines. And fair use, we use a limited amount, okay? We're gonna look at this video, and this video is gonna help us a lot with our next activity.
When we go on the internet, it's common to scroll through other people's images
Oh, I'm sorry.
and artwork. We might even want to use them for projects in school or at home. And we might think, I found it online, so it's mine. But that's not the case. We can't treat things we find online like a free-for-all. The good news is that there are legitimate ways to use material we find online. But first, we need to be aware of three
I have to
concepts:
use my computer.
copyright, public domain, and fair use. Why is all of this so important? For one, there are legal reasons for protecting everyone's creative work. And there are also ethical reasons to give credit to the people who create the things we see and find online. Let's start with the legal reasons why we should think twice before copying and using someone's work. The first is copyright. Copyright is a legal protection that creators have over the things they create. Copyright requires people to get permission before they copy, paste, alter, or share what someone else has made. Most things that we find, download, and copy and paste from the internet are copyrighted. This means that the people who created them own the content and have a say in how they're used. But that doesn't mean that everything on the internet can't be used. Some creators indicate that their content is okay to be used by others, and other content might fall under what's called public domain. Let's look at what public domain means.
This is very
When we search for content that's in the public domain, it means these creative works are not copyrighted and are free to use without permission by anyone, however they want. According to US law, some content becomes available as public domain after a certain number of years have passed since its creation. There are also specific images and documents published by the government that are considered public domain. So, when in doubt, search public domain to find a ton of things that are totally free to use.
When in doubt, I suggest
Now, if we want to use a
public
photo,
domain.
a video, music, or other content that's copyrighted, there are still a few things we can do. We can simply reach out and ask the creator for permission. Many creators are happy to give permission to reproduce their work, as long as they're given credit. The third concept to take advantage of is called fair use. Fair use allows us to use copyrighted work without permission, but only in certain ways and in specific situations. These conditions involve 4 areas to consider: amount, purpose, nature, and effect.
That's the fourth
First,
of the
we can
concept.
only use a small amount of the
Small
original
amount.
work. This means someone can't copy the whole copyrighted song in their dance video, but they can use a short clip of it. Second, there has to be a new purpose in the project, meaning that we transform the original work into something new and different. Next, it's easier to claim fair use if the nature of the original work is nonfiction or based in fact, rather than creative or fictional. And finally, we need to ask ourselves whether the effect of the new work negatively affects the creator or the value of the original content. For instance, are we charging for or making money off someone else's work?
You're making money off of it.
Claiming
It's a
fair
no.
use is
It's a no.
determined on a case-by-case basis, but it's more likely acceptable if it's 1, for schoolwork and education, 2, for criticizing or commenting
And
on
I didn't know
something,
that one.
3, for news reporting, or 4, for comedy or as a parody of something. We can think of fair use kind of like a square, and ask ourselves, is it fair and square? So that's the legal stuff. But let's not forget the ethical considerations when using content found online. Think about it. If you created something original and put it online, wouldn't you want others to give you credit for your work? What if they changed it or made money off it and no one knew you were the original creator? That's just not right. So remember, when we go online in search of things to use, keep these 3 concepts in mind: copyright, public domain, and fair use. We're all creative thinkers and creators, and it's always important to give credit where credit is due.
Alrighty. So teachers at most schools are protected to a degree by copyright laws. These laws allow teachers to make use of articles from sources like Time for Kids, that magazine, as long as they do so in the context of instruction. So sharing a link to a recent article or a video is permissible if it's for the purpose of instruction and the educational institution is a nonprofit like us. However, Copying and printing articles that is not for educational use can pose risk. Copying and distributing works created by others, for example, printing out the whole article and distributing it to a class, is riskier and should be avoided. Avoided. That's your answer, Ms. Clayton. Copyright law is more lenient when the copied material is not copied in whole or is not distributed to the whole class. Okay? So teachers, please be careful as well with so-called creative works that you use in your classroom. If you are using them for instructional purposes, these type of creative works are protected. But if you're using anything for purposes that are not instructional, like showing a Pixar or Disney movie as a reward or during recess on a rainy day without instruction, that clearly is an infringement on copyright. Okay, guys? So I know sometimes it's raining and we want to have inside recess. We cannot show a Pixar or Disney movie during a rainy day because we're clearly violating copyright. Okay? All right, let's see who's ready. We're gonna do a quick little matchup to see who's got it. Okay? Let's do the match. Gonna do the matchup right now. So, we have copyright, public domain, and fair use. Then we have the definitions. Legal protection that creators have over the things they create. The ability to use copyrighted work without permission, but only in a certain way and specific situations. And creative work that is not copyright and free to use without permission. Ms. Shaw, can you tell me which one would be the answer for copyright?
Copyright is legal protection that creators have over the things they create.
Absolutely correct. That is the legal protection, copyright. Ms. Winston, can you tell me public domain?
Public domain is the creative work that's not copyrighted and free to use without permission.
That's right, good job. It's free to use. So I always encourage you, if you want to find information, public domain. You go and search for public domain, you know you don't have to worry about it. It's not copyrighted. Miss Linda, can you tell me what fair use is?
Sure can. The ability to use copyrighted work without permission, but only in certain ways and specific situations.
Excellent. Ooh, you guys are listening. I'm loving it. Great job, guys. All right. All right. So just gonna run through a couple quick examples. So we're gonna do the examples in a little bit, and you're gonna tell me if it's fair use or not, okay? So try to remember those 4 squares, okay? All right, so we're gonna have to do the first one. So let's look at our examples, okay? So Maya is making a flyer for her class project. Looking at the examples. She finds a cool store logo and uses part of it on her flyer. Is that fair use? She used it. And listen for those keywords in the sentence, and it helps you. So Maya is making a flyer for her class project. She finds the cool store logo and uses part of it for her flyer. Is that fair use? Miss Winston?
Yes,
Let's see.
the reason
Go ahead, tell me why.
is she is using it for educational purpose.
Excellent. It is permissible because she's using it for educational purposes. And not only that, but she used a small portion of it. So good job. All righty. Let's try another one. Example number 2. So a group of students are making a video for their class, remembering all they've done throughout the year. They used the song I Live by Republic in the background. They used the entire song. Miss Linda, do you think that's fair use?
No.
Why not?
Because they use the entire song and it's not really educational.
Right.
They didn't, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
They didn't use a small amount of the song, they used the entire song.
That's right. They use the entire song, so it's not permissible. They use the entire song. It's not permissible. They use the entire song. Okay? So if you're using pieces of the song, that would have been different, but they used the entire song. Okay, we're gonna do one more quick one. Okay, example number 3. Jen takes an image of a famous magazine cover of a celebrity model, but she changes the headline on the cover. She does this to criticize how magazines pressure girls to look perfect. Is it fair use or not, Ms. Shaw?
Yes, it is fair use because she used it for criticizing or commenting on something.
when they are criticizing how magazines put pressure on girls to look perfect.
Exactly. Excellent. Good. That's right. Excellent, 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 excellent. All right. And remember fair use. So fair use is not a clear-cut issue. It is judged on a case-by-case basis, as you have seen in the previous slides. Users claiming fair use must be able to defend themselves if someone accuses them of stealing their work. Okay? All right. So let's do a check-in time. Let's check in. At this point, ladies, how are you feeling? Give me a thumbs up if you're feeling confident, and okay if you're feeling somewhat confident, and I don't feel confident at all. All right, let me see, guys. I'm gonna turn around. Woo. All righty. Oh, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Let's try to get this computer phone back up. Okay. Technology here. All righty. So I'm loving what I'm seeing. Good job, guys. You guys have been doing an excellent job so far. All righty. Now it's your turn to show me what you've learned. I think you've done good, but before we do that, let's watch a quick video a little bit that talks a little bit more about copyright on campus, okay? And we won't watch all of it, okay? We're stopping on the little.
Hey, Jane, thanks for finding that journal article for me. I just gave it to my students.
You gave it to your students?
Well, technically I posted it online for them.
Oh, Lord. Did you check with the copyright holder to see if it's okay to post that article?
What do you mean?
Since journal articles are copyright protected, you may need the copyright holder's permission to share them.
No problem. I'm using it for educational purposes, so I don't need permission.
Actually, Tim, your copyright responsibilities are quite clear. Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution gives Congress the power to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing, for limited times, for authors and inventors...
Wow, I see your lips moving.
Nothing?
Yeah, Zilzerino.
Want to learn about copyright in 5 minutes or less?
Okay.
Copyright holders have the exclusive right to copy, distribute, display, and perform their work. And they have an exclusive right to create a derivative work, like when a book is made into a movie. This is why you likely need permission if you want to share copyrighted material.
Well, aren't there special exceptions for colleges and universities?
Definitely. Section 108 of the U.S. Copyright Act addresses archiving, replacing lost, damaged, or obsolete copies in interlibrary loans. Section 109 permits the resale or lending of copies of works. Section 110 permits certain types of content use in classrooms and distance education. And of course, Section 107 is all about fair use.
Doesn't fair use give us the right to share content without getting permission or paying royalties to the copyright holder?
It depends. Even if it's for educational purposes, no particular use automatically qualifies as fair use. You need to consider 4 factors detailed by the U.S. Copyright Act. The first is the purpose and character of the use. For example, if the use is intended to help derive financial or other business benefit, then it is less likely to be a fair use, even in an educational setting. If it transforms the original, such as analyzing or criticizing the work rather than just copying it, it is more likely to be a fair use. Next is the nature of the copyrighted work. For instance, the use of a purely factual work is more likely to be fair use than the use of a creative work. Third, the more the work that is used, then it is less likely to be a fair use. Even a small portion may be too much if what is used is the heart of the work. And finally, you need to consider the effect of the use on the market or the potential market. If your use might result in economic loss to the copyright holder, then it is less likely to be a fair use. No single factor is enough. You have to weigh all 4 in order to determine if the use is really fair use.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Many people confuse
All right, that's. I cut it off early. I did not use all of it. All right. So let's see if you remember a little bit of what we've been doing. Okay. So number 1, what is copyright? Let's see. What is copyright? Ms. Linda, what is copyright?
Copyright is the area of law that deals with creation, ownership, sale, and use of creative and expressive works.
Let's see if she's right. Copyright is the area of law that deals with creation, ownership, sale, and use of creative works. Very good, Ms. Linda. Okay, let's do number 2. This is a true and false question, okay? Number 2. If you create a work such as a piece of art, computer software, or movie, you need to register it with copyright offices before it is protected under copyright law. Ms. Clayton.
It is false. And my explanation to that is that you do not need to register
Good morning,
it for
teachers,
it
students,
to
and
be
staff. Pardon this
protected.
interruption.
Excuse
This
me,
is a
hold on,
friendly
hold on.
reminder to please take attendance at this time. If you can, please take attendance at this time. Thank you.
I have to take attendance at this time. Let me get my computer, I'll take attendance quickly. No, I got it. Oh, it's okay. I need a computer, I'll take attendance. Keep talking. Just keep talking. Can I pause? That's okay. Just keep talking. Okay, so, Ms. Clayton, while I'm taking the attendance, okay, can you explain it to me? Can you go over it again? I'm sorry, Ms. Clayton, we got interrupted. So, if you create a work such as a piece of art, computer software, or movie, you need to register it with the Copyright Office before it is protected under copyright law. What did you say?
The answer is false.
Okay, good. Can you explain to me why?
Yes, you do not need to register it for it to be protected. Once you create something like art, a worksheet, it is yours.
Excellent. Great explanation. Excellent job. That is right. Once you create it, it is yours. And in this, we have a video for our kids that we want to teach them about it, okay? So, no, I didn't get to do my attendance. Miss, can you quickly go and tell Miss Jazz who has absent for me, please? I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay? Sorry about that. Okay, so we have the poet Edgar Allan Poe wrote a well-known piece of literacy works, and he died in 1849. You can find that's number 3. You can find legal and free copies of his work on the internet. What category below applies to this situation? Miss Smith?
Public domain.
Public domain. Good job, public domain. Let's see if you're correct. Absolutely right, public domain. Ooh, there's another true and false one. That's number 4. So this is a good one. As long as I cite a photo I find on Google image search, I have permission to use it. Is that true? Yes?
False,
Okay, why?
because
Can I just go ahead and just take anything off the internet?
no, you have to get permission.
Alright. So in order to avoid that, I would just go on the public domain, and then once it's on the public domain, then it's free for me to use, okay?
Yes,
Alright.
thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, that's what we were talking about, public domain. So, next one. You can find many free public domain images online, particularly those from the U.S. government. Why are many U.S. government photos, even recent ones, in the public domain? Ms. Winston?
The answer is all works created by the U.S. government are in the public domain from the moment of their creation. There is no copyright.
Right. Once it's created by the government, there are no copyright for it, okay? Once it's part of the government that created it, there is no copyright. Good job. You guys are doing amazing. Alrighty. And that goes to show your answer, okay? Alright, here we go. This image was created around 1917, and it was registered with the U.S. Copyright. It was registered with the U.S. Copyright Office. Since then, it no longer has an active copyright. So what category below applies to this situation? Is it public domain, classroom expectations, fair use, or Creative Commons?
Public domain.
It is public domain.
Because,
See?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
It no longer has a copyright.
That's right, that's the key here. It no longer has an active copyright. So it is public domain, you can use it all you want. Okay, now you're gonna turn and talk to your partner. Okay, so you're gonna turn and talk to your partner about what kinds of things you like to share online. Do you want your work shared with others? How does it feel when you decide how your work will be shared, and is it fair to share others' creative work? So you could just turn and talk to your partner for a minute or two about it. So I'll probably ask Ms. Shaw about what kind of things she shares online. Probably just go ahead and talk to your partner. guys are doing an excellent job, ladies. I like what I
So
hear.
I like to share, I know I share on Facebook, yeah, Instagram. I like to share scriptures, that I find inspiration. A little bit of TikTok is like a worm, and just keep going and going. But it can be very informative for like financial things or life hacks. How to do No, it's like they're recording you and just put information on there, but I think that they're putting out the information there, and then they can link where to get the information from. So like
I heard Miss Shaw saying the kind of things she shares is TikTok videos, memes, pictures. So since that's the case, how would you feel if someone just took your meme and just had it spread? How would you feel?
I personally would be a little bit upset depending on what the content was.
Yes.
But if it was out there, if I let it get put out there, I'm okay, I'm comfortable with it.
Okay. So you don't mind your work being shared with others as long as they ask for permission?
Yes.
Alrighty. So always remember it, and always think about it when you're looking at stuff on the internet. Is it fair to share others' creative work without their permission? Okay? Alright. So, got a couple more questions. Alright, you guys are doing so well. Alright. So, now, so we know what copyright is, so I have a bigger question. How do you get a copyright? Miss Smith, how do you get a copyright?
Well, actually, you really don't have to do anything because copyrights are already automatic when you make something creative.
That's right. So if I decide I'm gonna make something creative and I made a beautiful, say, poster, I have that copy. That's mine. I created it, so I don't need a copyright. I don't have to register it with the U.S. Copyright Office, okay? It's mine. I created it, okay? Okay. And I was just saying the answers to it, okay? Okay, this is one, here we go. I see a really cool painting made by a student in a local craft show. I buy the painting for her, snap a picture of the design, and start printing it on shirts, phone cases, pop sockets, and posters to sell. Can I get in trouble for copyright, Miss Linda?
Yes, because the artist still has the copyright, even if you own the painting.
That's right. I bought the painting. I did not buy the rights. Okay, that is hers. Okay, excellent. Right. I bought the painting. I did not buy the rights. And it just goes to show that. So even though you bought the physical painting, the artist still has the copyright to the work. You can do whatever you want with that painting that you have. You can hang it up, whatever you want to do with it. But you need the artist's permission to make copies of the work, to have the artist give you the copyright along with the painting. Okay? All right. Yes. So even if you bought that physical piece, you own that physical piece, but you do not own the right to distribute it. Good question. Let's see if anyone was paying attention. How long does a copyright last? Miss Clayton?
Okay, wait. I remember this from the video, Miss George.
Okay.
Life of the creator plus 70 years.
Life of the creator plus 70 years. That is absolutely correct. And when I was doing that, I was like, oh my, I didn't know that. So yeah, the life of the creator plus 70 years. Okay, true or false? Giving credit to the sources protect you from copyright infringement. Go ahead.
True.
Let's see if you're right. Nope, it is false. Just giving credit is not enough to protect you against copyright. It's still infringement if you use someone else's work without their permission. So to avoid copyright infringement, make sure you get permission from the copyright owner before you use their work. Okay? Not just giving them credit. You gotta get permission. Okay?
Thank you. Okay, I understand.
Got that now?
Yes.
All right. Now we get that one. Okay, this one, I think you got this one. What is fair use? We talked a lot about fair use. What's fair use?
It lets you use someone else's copyrighted work without permission if the right factors are met.
Excellent. All righty. All right, so let's look at these. We have 3 examples. Which of the following could be an example of fair use? Which of the examples could be? Which one of the following could be an example of fair use?
Using copyrighted pictures in your PowerPoint presentation for a school project.
That's right. Very good. Excellent job. What else? Any others?
Publishing a copyrighted pic of a celebrity in your school newspaper to report on their recent arrest.
And yes, because that is news, that is the reason why that one would be, because it's news, okay?
Okay.
So that's the reason why that one, because when I was looking at it, I was like, but it's
Yeah.
because it's news, yes.
So it's already, yeah, it's already made public, so it's able to be, okay.
Okay. Yeah, you sure?
True.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, and you can use, and I already showed the answer for that one, I'm sorry. You can use works in the public domain without violating copyright.
That is true.
That is true. The public domain, remember that public domain is the space where works go after the copyright expires. So since no one owns them anymore, the ideas are free for anyone to use however they like. So far, let me get a quick thing of what you know so far. Tell me a little bit about what you learned so far. So we could continue. Can you tell me a little bit about what you learned so far? Ms. Shaw, what did you learn so far?
Okay, so I learned that you don't have to register your work for it to get a copyright.
Right.
It is automatic when you make something.
Good. All right. You don't
Create.
have to register your work so far.
It's automatically done.
Right. All right. It is automatic. Okay. All righty. Yes. What did you learn so
Ms.
far?
George, I learned that copyright lasts the life of the creator plus 70 years.
All righty. Copyright lasts the life. Right. The life of the creator. Yep. Plus 70 years. Wow. Plus 70 years. Plus 70 years. Yes, what did you learn, Ms. Winston?
I learned that all works created by the government are in the public domain.
Yes, that's a good one. All works, good one. All works created by the government are in the public domain. All works created by the government. Yep. Public domain. Are in the public domain. Public domain. Excellent. Excellent. Time am I working with here? Okay, guys. Take some time. We're gonna go over everything we discussed before, and then we're gonna have a quick little quiz. Alrighty. Okay, so you can use public domain without violating copyrights. Is that true?
Yes, that is true.
That's right. Public domain, you can use public domain without violating copyrights. Excellent job, Ms. T. Alrighty. Okay, so I borrowed my coworker's phone and took a picture of my students working on a STEAM activity. Who owns the copyright on this picture?
You do, since you took the picture.
Alrighty, let's see if you're correct. Let's see if you are correct. That is right. Copyright goes to the person who is creating the work. So for a photo, that would be the person taking the picture, no matter how creative the model looks, no matter the students working, they don't own the right. The person who owns the phone don't own the right. I own the right because I took the picture. Okay, so if you take a picture, you are the creator, okay? Alrighty. A student photographer takes a picture using a school-owned camera as part of a class assignment. The student never signed an agreement to give away his copyrights, and the student handbook doesn't say anything about who gets it. Who would own the copyright?
The student, because he took the picture.
Excellent, it's right, that is right. The student, because he took the picture. The copyright goes to the creative person who created the work. Even if the school owns the camera, the student has the copyright to the photo, okay? So let's go, we're gonna do a little quick game. Does copyright apply to teachers? Show me a thumbs up if it applies to teachers, or a thumbs down if it doesn't apply to teachers. Let's see. Let's see if I'm gonna get it to work. Oh, yes, excellent. Yes, educators good job guys. Educators, like everyone else, is subject to copyright laws. We are not immune simply because we are teachers. We're not immune, okay? Let's try another one, okay? The biggie. Can you share teacher pay teacher resources? Can you share teacher pay teacher resources? Ooh, I saw a thumbs down. Excellent. Excellent job. Let's see. Right. Resources on teacher pay teacher are licensed for individual uses. So Miss T, can you go and purchase something on teacher pay teacher and just go give it to all your teacher friends?
No.
No, you cannot. Absolutely not. We know sharing is caring, but when it comes to copyright, we cannot do that, Miss T. So your license does not cover your colleagues. You cannot pay for it and go give it to Miss George, give it to Miss Winston, give it to Miss Clayton. You cannot do that. It's for individual purposes. If you want to share, you have to buy an additional license. So if Miss George needs a copy of it, she's like, oh my gosh, this is excellent. Can I have it? You can say, okay, you know what, Miss George, I can buy one for you. Okay? All righty. Here we go. Next one. Ooh, this is a big one. On movie night, showing students a Disney DVD bought by the PTA. Is that permissible? Ooh, say it, let me hear you.
No.
It is absolutely not permissible. Oh, I love that. No, videos like everything else is not covered under fair use for entertainment or reward. The use described is entertainment, so it's pure and simple. You cannot do that, okay? So in conclusion, let me double check my time, make sure I'm on time. Excellent, okay. So in conclusion, guys, the creative works of others is protected by copyright. To use copyrighted works legally and ethically, you must observe and follow the rules. What do you do if you want to use materials that's copyrighted? You gotta check to see who owns it, get permission to use it, give credit to the creditors, buy it if necessary, and use it responsibly. That's the most important one. You gotta use it responsibly. Okay? And the role of a librarian when it comes to copyright, the role is to recognize copyright issues and direct your patrons and researchers to relevant materials about copyright laws and licensing. But ultimately, you should provide the information without providing legal advice. Okay? Very careful with that. Okay? So daily activities and issues they must address within the confines of copyright is photocopying and scanning articles, copying software, and downloading or incorporating music into presentation. So Ms. Clayton wanted to know, can we make a copy of a book and put it on a PowerPoint and distribute it to entire team or staff? The answer to that would be
no.
No, you cannot do that, okay? You can take a couple pages, a bit of it, but you definitely cannot take the entire book, put it on a PowerPoint and distribute it to the staff. That would be no, okay? As we come to a close, okay? We're coming to a close. We are here on this page, we have additional resources that you can use with your students to learn about copyright. Here's your exit ticket, smart ladies. I want you to write about one thing you've learned today that you plan to share with another colleague who was not able to make this presentation. So I want you to take your time, write about one thing you've learned today that you plan to share with another colleague who was not able to attend our professional development today. And I want to thank you guys so much for coming to this professional development with me, being so engaged in it. I thank you guys so much.